I hope you are all well. Welcome to be in this webinar. It's a co-host webinar project, and it's co-hosting by Arts and Skills and CTRL. Sorry for my voice today. This webinar is the second organized for us. The first one was about marketing strategies, and this one is about tourism, sustainable tourism. Our speaker is Dr. Américo Silva. Thanks for being here and to participate. Dr. Américo has an expert in economics, international management, and tourism. He holds a degree in economics from Catholic University of Porto, and he's completing his PhD in tourism. He has a really long experience about in these topics. His academic contributions spans topics like tourism, economics, market analysis, and cultural heritage role. So I will let Dr. Americ speaks about this topic. He'll do his presentation, and after we will have a time for questions. Really important. This meeting will be recorded, so if someone doesn't want their image, please don't have the camera connected. Otherwise, we ask you to be here and enjoy the webinar. You can also use the chat if you have any questions or doubts. Okay, so Dr. Mark is with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anna. I would like to greet you all, and thank you, Dr. Anna and Dr. Jenny Miranda from Art and Skills for inviting me to be here to talk about sustainable tourism. And I will start my presentation for a simple introduction. What is sustainable tourism? The definition is simple, focuses on traveling responsibly, preserving the environment, respecting local and cultures, and supporting local economies. Sustainable tourism have key principles. The principle one is minimize environmental impact, support local communities, and promote cultural understanding. Why sustainable tourism matters? Matters because environmental challenges like pollution, habitat destruction, and climate change, cultural concerns like loss of traditions and overcrowding in heritage sites, and because there are many economic benefits like supports local economies, ensures equitable income distribution, and reduces poverty. Okay. I will presentation the pillars, the major pillars of sustainable tourism. Environmental sustainability, like protecting natural resources and reducing carbon footprints. The second pillar is cultural preservation, like a safeguarding local traditions, languages, and heritage. And the third pillar is economic sustainability, like generating jobs and fair trade within the local community. There are many pillars, but in my opinion, this third pillar is the most important. Practical tips for travelers. There are many, like respect local customs and dress codes, travel during off-peak seasons to reduce pressure on resources, use reusable water bottles and avoid single-use plastics, and support local business and buy handmade goods. The role of governments and organizations, the policies, certifications, and community collaboration. The first one, the policies, enforcing sustainable tourism regulations and monitoring environmental impacts. The third, community collaboration, engaging local communities and decision-making processes. The second, the certifications, for example, promoting eco-friendly business with certifications like Green Key is very, very important to these roles of governments and organizations. I will presentation some case studies, some international case studies. I will start about Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a country pioneering ecotourism. For example, Costa Rica is recognized as a leader in ecotourism, and is very important. The country prioritizes conservation and dedicating approximately 25% of its land to national parks and protected areas. They are a certification for sustainable tourism, and the major activities is rainforest canopy tours and wildlife spotting like volcano hikes. The second, the Bhutan, high value, low impact tourism. This country focus on cultural preservation and environmental protection and limited tourist footprint. Bhutan is recognized for high value, and the tourism policy focuses on limiting the environmental and cultural footprints of tourists. Norway, sustainable short tourism. In simple resume, the Norway is recognized for local business adopting renewable energy and has guidelines for cruise ships to reduce pollution. The Kenya, community-based wildlife tourism, like eco lodges and wildlife safaris. The main benefits is wildlife protection, cultural preservation, and local livelihoods. Iceland. Iceland is recognized for volcano, but Iceland has become a case study in managing over-tourism, especially after a surge in visitors following the eruption of the volcano. The government has implemented measures such as visitor caps at fragile sites like the Blue Lagoon, promote responsible tourism, and investment in sustainable infrastructures. The Maldives. The Maldives is recognized about sustainable luxury tourism. Resorts like Six Senses, Lemo, and Soneva Fushi, using renewable energy, coral reef restoration projects, and reduction of single-use plastics. And last one, but it's in my opinion, is the most important, as Peru is recognized about sustainable trekking in the Andes. For example, permit system for the Inca Trail, employment for local communities, and preservation of cultural and natural heritage. For example, Peru has implemented sustainable practices to preserve its cultural and natural heritage. The Inca Trail, for example, limits the number of daily trekkers and daily trekkers, permit to minimize environmental damage. Tour operators work with local communities to provide jobs and preserve traditional practices, ensuring that tourism supports both people and the environment. Okay, now I will present challenges to sustainable tourism. I will present the 8 major challenges. The first one is balancing economic growth and environmental sustainability. In my opinion, and the specialist's opinion, tourism is one of the fastest growing industries in the world, which can increase pressure on local ecosystems. The construction of infrastructures, resource exploitation, and waste production are some of the negative consequences of unsustainable tourism. Finding ways to balance economic growth with environmental preservation is a constant challenge. The second one is managing environmental impacts. For example, tourist destinations can suffer significant environmental impacts. For example, ecosystem degradation, pollution, and overburdened infrastructures. The third is seasonality and pressure on destinations. This seasonality of tourism can result in peak periods of overburdened destinations, followed by low periods of low influx. The fourth is authenticity and local community engagement. Sustainable tourism should involve local communities, ensuring that they benefit fairly and with equitability. However, there is a risk that mass tourism leads to excessive commercialization of local culture, distorting the authenticity of traditions and customs. Education and awareness is other challenge. Funding and investment, regulation and enforcement, and last one, mass tourism versus responsible tourism. Promoting responsible and conscious tourism is challenging in markets dominated by mass tourism, which is based on low prices and short-term profit maximization. Marketing strategies need to be adjusted to promote sustainable values, but mass tourism practices often contradict these ideals as they generate more negative environmental and social impacts. Now, I will present the Agenda 2030 and Sustainable Development Goals, a common SDGs. Okay, this agenda, the milestone here is 2015, the definition of the 2030 agenda, and comprised of 17 sustainable development goals. Okay, they are the features of the 2030 agenda. This agenda is so ambitious and covers multiple dimensions of sustainable development. Social, economic, and environmental is the three dimensions of sustainable development and promotes peace, justice, and effective institutions. The foundation of the SDGs, of the goals, of the development goals, resulted from collaborative efforts between governments, citizens worldwide, and represents a shared vision for humanity, a commitment between world leaders and people, and described as a to-do list in the name of the people and the planet. This agenda is so important for the sustainable development and, in the consequence, for sustainable tourism. This agenda 2030 as sustainable development goals. The SDGs are oriented 5 key areas, known as the 5 Ps: people, prosperity, planet, peace, and partnerships. The UN has established indicators to assess each nation's progress and success in specific areas. For example, in the 5 SDG, gender equality, it's necessary to ensure humans' participation in political life, eliminate all forms of violence and discrimination, strengthen public health and inclusion policies, among other measures. Thus, achieving the 2030 agenda involves not only working towards a fair society on economic, social, and environmental levels, but also raising awareness about the responsibility and impact of each individual on the planet. They are a lot of sustainable development goals, 17 sustainable development goals. The fifth is very important, like I said, gender equality, and other are important too, like 17 partnership for the goals, like the 15 life on the land, and 11 sustainable cities and communities. Okay, now I will present tourism satellite account concerned about the Portugal case study. Okay. The document tourism satellite account provides a comprehensive analysis of the economic impact of the tourism sector in Portugal based on preliminary 2023 data and comparisons with previous years, particularly 2022. Now, we have a major indicators since 2016 at 2023. For example, in 2023, is the last year we are concerned, we are studying, growth of tourism in 2023, the tourism sector in Portugal recorded significant growth, like VEBGT and tourism consumption in the economic territory grew by 16% and 15.5%. Respectively, surpassing the growth of national GVA and GDP, which were 10% and 9.6%. These increases consolidate the post-pandemic recovery of tourism, reaching historical heights, with VGT representing 9% of national GVA and CTTE, corresponding to 16.5% of GDP. Tourism estimated to have contributed to 33.8 billion to GDP, they representing 12.7% of the total, with 1.1 percentage of this contribution driving real GDP growth of 2.3% in last year, no, but in 2023. Like I said, pre and post-pandemic analysis is so important. For example, between the years before pandemic, like 2016 and 2019, CTTA grew by 40%, reflecting solid sector expansion. This trajectory was interrupted by the pandemic in 2020. In 2022, recovery began, which intensified in 2023, surpassing pre-pandemic values and showcasing a dynamism in the sector more pronounced than in the rest of the economy. In 2020, the sector was responsible for a significant part of GDP contraction. Conversely, in 2022 and 2023, it was one of the main drivers of recovery, with like a 17% increase in VGT in 2022 and 16% in 2023. Employment and wages in the tourism sector. Employment in typical tourism activities grew marginally, like 0.1% in 2021, but wages increased by like a 5%. In 2023, the tourism sector employed approximately 9% of the national workforce, reflecting a partial recovery from the pandemic's negative impact. The average wage in this sector is below the national average, but some specific activities, such as air transport and leisure services, present wages above the average. Okay, this study it's concerned about international tourism trade. The pandemic significantly affected exports and imports in the tourism sector, but recent growth demonstrates a solid and consistent recovery, like I said before. Tourism exports increased by 96% between 2016 and 2023, with higher average growth in the post-pandemic period, especially in exports, which recorded an average growth rate of 17% in 2022 and 2023. Okay, they are international comparison and international data. In 2022, Portugal was the second European country with the highest share of tourism in GDP, 15%, 16%, surpassed only by Iceland. Overnight stays in tourist accommodation in Portugal exceeded pre-pandemic levels in 2023, with notable growth in non-resident stays, which increased by 10% compared to 2018. Okay, now I will present the ET Strategic of Tourism 2027, presented in Portugal. And this tourism strategy is the long-term strategic plan for tourism in Portugal, approved by the Council of Ministers, dated September 27. This document establishes the vision and priorities for the sustainable development of the tourism sector until 2027. This strategy as a vision, position tourism as a driver of economic, social, and environmental development across the country, making Portugal one of the most competitive and sustainable tourist destinations in the world. ET 27 defines 5 strategic axes, with each with specific action lines. The first one, add value to the territory, promote regional diversity and authenticity of tourist experiences, and preserve and enhance natural and cultural heritage. The second pillar is the drive the economy, increase tourism revenues and the sector's added value, and stimulate entrepreneurship and innovation in tourism business. The third pillar is leverage knowledge, qualify human resources and promote continuous training, and support research and the dissemination of knowledge in the sector. The fourth pillar is it concerned about generate networks and connectivity, improve accessibility and internal and external mobility, and leverage opportunities in the digital economy for tourism. The last pillar is raise Portugal's profile, diversify source markets and segment the tourism offer and strengthen Portugal's image as a top-notch tourist destination. Okay, this slide is concerned about targets for tourism in Portugal in each period, 2017 to since 2017 to 2027. They are the three dimensions of sustainability: economic, social, and environmental. And there is a different targets. For example, in first dimension, in economic dimension, the goal is increase tourism demand in the country and in the various regions. The target is 80 million overnight stays. And the second target in this dimension, revenue, the target is 26 billion. For example, in dimension social, Portugal has a target for satisfaction of residents. The target then more than 90% of the resident population considers that the impact of tourism on their territory is positive. In my opinion, is the most important dimension, because satisfaction of residents is so important for us. Other example, on the environmental dimension of sustainability. On the energy, the goal increase the levels of energy efficiency in tourism companies. The target is more than 90% of tourism companies adopt or must adopt measures for using energy efficiently. Okay. Conclusion. The ET27 results from a participatory process involving public and private stakeholders, including businesses, institutions, regions, and sectors complementary to tourism. The joint effort aims to ensure the stability and coherence of public tourism policies until 2027. Promoting the integration of sectoral policies that influence tourism activity and fostering continuous coordination among various sector stakeholders. Now, I present the future strategy of tourism in Portugal, the ET 2035. It's under construction. This new strategy aims to establish guidelines for sustainable development, like incorporating emerging trends, global challenges, and fostering greater adaptation to the needs for innovation, digitalization, like IEEE, and environmental, social, and economic sustainability. The construction of this strategy has been marked by a collaborative approach involving public and private entities, associations, and local communities. The principal goals for about this new strategy, the first one, environmental sustainability and social sustainability. Environmental sustainability, mitigating the environmental impacts of tourism and promoting greener practices. Social inclusion, ensuring that tourism benefits local communities. And the last three, digitalization, increasing the adoption of innovative technologies in the sector. Market diversification, like exploring new markets and tourism offerings. And economic resilience, preparing the sector to handle future crises. Okay, Now, I will talk about the sustainability in the hotel industry, in case in Portugal. Um, for example, sustainability is one of the main trends in the hospitality industry in Portugal for this year. Hotels are adopting eco-friendly practices, such as the use of renewable energy, waste reduction, and resource reuse in response to the growing demand from tourists for accommodations that demonstrate environmental responsibility. Examples of hotels. Hotels like Six Senses Douro Valley, Areias do Seixo, Pedras Salgadas Spa Nature Park, Herdade Cortesia Hotel, Santa Bárbara Eco Beach Resort, Eco Hotel Vila Galé Albacora, Zemar Eco Experience. For example, the first one is the Six Senses Douro Valley. This luxury hotel is known for its focus on sustainability and well-being. It employs energy, water, and waste management practices and promotes organic farming in its own garden, which supplies the restaurant with fresh local ingredients. Additionally, it invests in heritage preservation initiatives local. For example, in the Six Senses Hotel as a sustainable architecture and design. The hotel's structure combines the preservation of the historic building with construction using local materials, helping to minimize the carbon footprint associated with the transportation and production of materials. The design respects the region traditional architecture and incorporates natural lighting, and ventilation to reduce the need of electricity. The second one, energy efficiency and carbon reduction. The hotel uses renewable energy sources to lower its environmental impact, including efficient heating and cooling systems. They monitor and work to reduce energy and water consumption, integrated smart technologies that enable more efficient use of natural resources. The third characteristic about this hotel, water management. Six Senses has implemented a strict water treatment systems that minimize waste. This includes collecting and using rainwater for irrigation and sanitation instead of plastic bottled mineral water. The hotel offers filtered water in reusable glass bottles, promoting the reduction of plastic waste. The fourth characteristic about this hotel, it concerned about local production and consumption. That is so important. In terms of food, this hotel prioritizes the use of organic products and local suppliers, stimulating the regional economy and reducing the environmental impact of food transportation. They grow their own gardens and incorporate fresh seasonal ingredients into meals. The next characteristic it's concerned about well-being and environmental awareness. For example, this hotel, the Six Senses Douro Valley Hotel, also offers programs for guests focused on well-being and connection with nature. For example, eco hikes, sustainability workshops, and education in the importance of local biodiversity. Guests are encouraged to participate in tree planting programs and initiatives to protect local species. The other characteristic is waste management and recycling. The hotel has a rigorous waste separation and recycling system in phasing waste minimization. For example, they have implemented organic waste composting, which is used to enrich the soil of their on plantations. The last one, certifications and community commitments. This hotel holds eco certifications and participates in programs that validate their sustainable practices. They also work with the local community, promoting sustainable tourism and supporting initiatives that contribute to the well-being of the local populations and the preservation of the Douro cultural heritage. I present this example because Six Senses Douro Valley demonstrates that it is possible to offer a luxurious experience without compromising ecological responsibility. For example, with practices ranging from renewable energy used to supporting the local economy and environmental preservation. The hotel stands as a benchmark in sustainable tourism. Okay. Now, I will show you one video for Six Senses. Please wait a moment. Okay, it appears for you. Okay.
And Dr. Américo, we only see the links,
Ah, okay, okay.
not the videos.
A mistake. Okay. And now.
Now, yes.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Doesn't have a sound. I don't know if.
Ah, okay. Mm. Wait a moment. Oh.
And sorry, if I may, maybe when sharing the screen on Zoom, just remember to check and flag the option to share the audio as well. There is like a little icon below where it says that you you can share the audio as well.
Okay. The sound is off. Yeah.
Feels better?
Yeah, it's pretty low, but
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this a small video about the Six Senses hotel. And now I will present the areias do areias do Seixo. For example, is other hotel located near Lisbon, is an eco-friendly boutique hotel known for its sustainable construction and innovative design that respects the environment. The architecture was designed to minimize environmental impact using recycled and locally sourced materials. The hotel also promotes sustainable dining with fresh products grown on its own grounds. Okay, there is a characteristics about this hotel, like eco-friendly architecture, energy efficiency, and use of renewable energy, water conservation and waste reduction, sustainable food production and consumption, waste management, environmental awareness and well-being, biodiversity preservation and social responsibility, and sustainability certifications and awards. For example, in the second characteristic, energy efficiency, this hotel uses solar energy for water heating, significantly reducing its carbon footprint. The heating and cooling systems are highly efficient, relying on renewable energy sources and consumption control systems that adjust according to hotel occupancy. The other characteristic, in my opinion, it's important, the waste management. The hotel follows strict waste separation practices and promotes the composting of organic waste, which is later used in its gardens. Efforts are made to eliminate the use of disposable plastics, offering sustainable alternatives such as glass water bottles, reusable containers for amenities, and minimal packaging use. The last one, sustainability certifications and awards. This hotel holds certification in sustainable tourism practices and has been recognized with awards highlighting its commitment to environmental preservation and sustainability. Areias do Seixo serves as an example of conscious luxury, offering guests a unique and inspiring experience in harmony with the environment. Through innovative, eco-friendly practices and mindful management, the hotel aims not only to provide an unforgettable stay, but also to promote a positive impact on nature and surrounding community. Okay, the other examples, Pedras Salgadas Spa and Nature Park, Herdade Cortesia Hotel. For example, this hotel integrated into a natural ecosystem in Alentejo and was built using sustainable architectural practices and offers an experience in harmony with the landscape. The hotel implements, like others, solar energy, efficient irrigation systems, and uses natural and locally sourced materials throughout its structure. This example, it's located on Azores, located on the island of São Miguel. This hotel is renowned for its integration into the Azorean landscape and its sustainable design. For example, the cuisine also highlights local and seasonal products. The Eco Hotel Vila Galé Albacora. Vila Galé Albacora promotes cultural and environmental preservation in addition to implementing energy efficiency and recycling measures. This hotel certified by the Green Key program, which recognizes hotels with sustainable practices. Okay, conclusions. There are so many conclusions when we talk about this theme, but I summarize the most important for me. Innovations in eco-friendly transportation, such as electric vehicles and carbon neutral flights, rise of community-based tourism initiatives, the most important for me, collaborations between governments, NGOs, and businesses for sustainable goals. The fourth, sustainable tourism is essential for preserving the beauty and culture of destinations. And the last two is every traveler can contribute to positive change. And this is a small message, but it's so important to conclude this presentation. Leave only footprints, take only memories. Okay, my presentation is finished, and I want to hear your questions. And I have questions too. If you don't have any questions, I have one or two questions.
I have a question.
Hi.
Okay, so
Okay.
hi, thank you very much for the presentation. It was really good and inspiring. I come from Bosnia and Herzegovina from the organization CTRL. And as you know, we're part of the co-host project that deals with hospitality and tourism. And we are cooperating with high schools in the Western Balkan countries, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, and Albania. And in fact, many of members of these schools are here today with us listening to your presentation. But I was wondering, do you have any knowledge if high schools in Portugal are actually implementing sustainable tourism programs in their curriculum? And if so, do you have any recommendations for this, for our teachers and our school that they can actually use in order to improve their programs?
Okay. Okay. Yes, more and more. For example, in our institution, in IPCA, we promote a lot of sustainability themes. We have a recognized system about that. And my advice for you is so important to talk about sustainability and promotes the sustainability in high schools. IPCA, it promotes too. The next year, we have a new high school about tourism and management. And this high school, it's concerned about the sustainability, the ecotourism, and we will have ecotourism and eco-hotel. And we will prepare this program and this program about sustainability to share by population. For example, when we talk about sustainability and when we talk about ecotourism, is like promoting our country. Our country is so recognized about nature tourism, and the relation between the higher schools and communities is so important to promote this sustainability. But it's a long run to concerned about that. Okay. Do you have other questions?
Yes, Dr. Mary, SCQ has a chat questions. I don't know if you saw it. How does sustainable tourism contribute to local communities in Portugal? Is in the chat.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the question. In my opinion, sustainable tourism contributes to local communities in Portugal because it's promoting the relation between a lot of associations and with promoters about the tourism. In my opinion, sustainable tourism can help some people to share and to participate in some productions. For example, when wait a moment. Okay. Okay. When I saw the key principles, minimize environmental impact, support local communities, and promote cultural understanding. For me, promote cultural understanding is so important for us, and is the unexpected we work in the future to answer this question. For example, tour operators work with local communities to provide jobs and preserve traditional practices. It's so important when we talk about sustainable tourism, and when we talk about how the sustainable tourism contribute to local communities in Portugal. For me, when we talk about sustainable tourism, we need to talk about economic growth, we need to talk about new jobs, and we need to talk about promote high quality values for our community. Okay, other questions?
Hello, I have a question.
Okay, hello.
Hello, my name is Ali, and I also come from Bosnia. My question is, how important is it to hire like people, local people from local communities for sustainable tourism?
Okay, can you repeat a question?
How important is to hire people from local communities for sustainable tourism?
Okay, like I said, for me it's so important. For me, it's so important to approximate the people who work in tourism and other communities. For me, when we talk about sustainable tourism, we must talk about the three dimensions about sustainable development: economic, social, and environmental. For example, Portugal, it's concerned about that, and it's so important that Portugal must consider the economic growth can't be separated by economic sustainability.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Any more questions? You can, if you don't want to ask, you can write in the chat. If it's easier for you.
And I have a questions too.
Okay.
Okay. If you have any questions, I will to share one of these three questions. For example, as consumers, what sustainable practices do you expect to find in hotels and accommodations? And it's so important for us, for Portuguese practices, Portuguese hospitality. What do you expect to find in hotels? I talk about luxuries hotels, but we could talk about other accommodations. In Portugal, we have a lot of accommodations, not only luxuries hotels, no, but it's important for us as a perception about do you expect to find in hotels?
Well, I would say it's important to find like local resources from local communities nearby to implement in the like maybe food or in like activities you can do in that accommodations.
Yeah, it's so important. Like I said in my presentation, it's important to approximate the people and community to our food, to our traditions, to our culture. Yeah, it's so important. And for example, luxurious accommodations, it's important, but it's so important no compromising this offer to sustainability terms. And now you have any other questions? Okay, I think no. Thank you, and I hope to see you again next moment in Portugal. I hope so. It was a pleasure to have been with you.
So thank you, Dr. Américo. Thank you for all your presentation. We'll place the meeting, and so if someone wants to visit, before we go, for all the participants, we'll have a form, evaluation form from this webinar. I will place here in the chat, and I will send it later by email for all of you to give us your feedback, and thank you very much for your presence.
And I will try to meet the time.
And I hope if you come to Portugal, the persons who never visit, we have some Dr. Américo also show us some really interesting points to visit. So you have also like a tourist guide now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Dr.
And I will try to meet the time.
Okay.
1 hour. Yeah.
Was perfect. Thank you very much.
Since our students and our teachers are coming to Portugal next week, maybe they'll be able to visit some of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a pleasure for me.
Yeah. I don't know if you received the form in the chat, all of you. Yeah, so thank you very much for everything, and we see you next time.
Okay, see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye. Thank you.